Glad to see everyone.
All right, should we get going? Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Have a seat. Hey, Linda. There's some seats right here, if you guys want to take them. All right, everybody. Let's see. Bob, can you do one of your whistles? Bob McDonald? Hollywood? Can you kind of come like here? You don't have to start there. You can start right there. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to ask Cece to come on up and start us off with our land recognition. Thank you very much, Cece.
We pause to acknowledge that Santa Clara University sits on the land of the Ohlone and Muwekma Ohlone people, who trace their ancestry through the Mission Dolores, Santa Clara, and San Jose. We remember their connection to this region and give thanks for the opportunity to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. Let us take a moment of silence to pay respect to their elders and all Ohlone people, past and present. Thank you.
All right. How exciting. It's this time of year again to celebrate
the fellows, the Lewis Family Fellows. I'd like to make the theme of tonight to be about hope. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody to reflect on kind of some rough times that we've been living through over the last short time here with, political bifurcation, the climate crisis, with, inequality and technology at a rampant, pace. It's very uncertain. But in the midst of it all, we have a lot of hope. And I'd like to start with a quote about from Desmond Tutu, who's one of my heroes. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. And you all provide a shining light, as do the entrepreneurs that you all worked with, as you know. So more than 200 students have been through this fellowship program, working with social entrepreneurs on nearly 100 projects over the last 12 years. Is that just incredible? Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing. Social Entrepreneur, Miller Center for Global Impact, for those of you who don't know, we've been around for nearly 30 years, and we've accelerated, supported more than 1,600 global social entrepreneurs solving poverty across 100 countries in looking at things like women's economic power, how to lift up the economic situation of women around the world, as well as climate resilience. These companies are really moving the needle, and in fact, last year we calculated that within 3 years of engaging with us, these entrepreneurs cumulatively have improved the lives of more than 200 million people. So our little tiny Miller Center sitting here at Santa Clara University is impacting the lives of hundreds of millions of people. And one of the ways that we're able to support those entrepreneurs is through these incredible, incredible students. This year, what we've seen is that the students have worked in Rwanda, India, and Mexico in clean water, energy, agriculture, microfinance, all kinds of different sectors that we're going to hear about any moment now. And I just could not be more proud of it's 14 or 13? 14 of you. I'm like, am I counting wrong? So I just wanted to just end my remarks, because I want to be very, very brief, with a message specifically for you all. Another one of my heroes, Michelle Obama. So you may not always have a comfortable life, and you'll not always be able to solve all the world's problems at once. But don't ever underestimate the impact you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Thank you. These are awesome. Okay, so now I'd like to ask Jeff Miller to come up and share his wisdom with us. Thank you.
I didn't know that was going to be the intro. It might make for a much shorter talk. Welcome everyone. This is always one of my favorite nights. We kind of used to do a little mini-cosm of this at our advisory board, actually about this time of year, and we would typically get to see two or three of the entrepreneurs. From the advisory board standpoint, it was always the entrepreneurs, the fellows. It was always our favorite meeting. And frankly, after listening to a couple of them talk, we were normally all in tears. So you're going to get a treat here because you get to listen to all of them tonight. So we are really proud to introduce to you this year's Miller Center Lewis family, which is represented right over here with Ann and Bob. Thank you guys. Fellows. a gross understatement is to say these students have stepped out of their comfort zones and made a real difference to the entrepreneurs they've worked with. If you've ever been to any of the places that they've been, and they stayed and they lived for a number of weeks, it's not like Santa Clara. Many ways it's better, and there's a lot of normal things that we all take for granted that don't exist there. But it is the work they do. We've been lucky enough on a number of our immersion trips to visit them. In fact, not this year, but last year, we went to both Nkamoko and Jibu with a different set of fellows were there and visited them there. And the entrepreneurs love having these smart, aggressive, hardworking, willing to learn young people. They're just amazing. The thing that always impressed me, and I actually talked to, where's Kathy Ko? Where are you, Kathy? There you are. I talked to Kathy, whose daughter is one of them, so I could verify this, because she could see the before and after. But our impression when we got to listen to a few of them at the advisory board is that these were changed young men and women. That going through this 9-month program, and particularly living abroad, living the life of an entrepreneur, kind of makes you grow up. And so Bridget talked about hope. I completely agree. This is what gives me hope going forward. And the other thing that gives me hope is this university, because there is no other university that provides opportunities like this for undergraduate students to work directly with social entrepreneurs, impacting underserved communities while learning, creating value for the organizations they're working with, and I would argue probably growing up a whole bunch. The Harvard Impact Journal has named the Miller Center Lewis Family Fellowship as one of the top 9 standout programs in the country, and they said students engage when their work has real impact. And I can tell you from talking to the entrepreneurs that the work they do really does help them and has real impact. This program was founded in 2012. It was awarded the Ashoka's prestigious Cordis Innovation Award in 2017, which recognizes high-impact social education innovations. And it's part of what Miller Center does to try to make Santa Clara University a destination university for anyone that is interested in social entrepreneurship and global impact, which is completely aligned with Julie's Social Impact 2030 plan for the university. And so with that, I will keep my remarks short, mainly because I also want to actually hear them. So I'm going to introduce you now to a young lady that does most of the work, Karen Rundy, Senior Director of Academics and Entrepreneur Network. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bridget and Jeff. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I'm Karen. I have the great pleasure of introducing our 2025 Lewis Family Fellows. And over the past 9 months, these students have really gone all out. They've done a transformation of academic research, on-the-ground experience, and really personal transformation, let's be honest. I had the privilege of going on that immersion trip that Jeff was speaking to last summer. And this summer, I got to visit some of our fellows in Rwanda and Kenya. And Linda got to visit our fellows in Mexico, and Leslie got to visit our fellows in India. And let me just tell you, there's nothing quite like seeing our students in action, watching them side by side, sort of in lockstep with our entrepreneur partners, engaging with their customers, and really creating those actionable solutions that really help our entrepreneur community continue to grow and scale our impact. That kind of learning just can't be replicated in a classroom. It's immersive, it's humbling, and it's deeply human. As Jeff mentioned, we are a destination university for impact entrepreneurship and impact investing. Go Miller Center Capital. And Miller Center is really a cornerstone of getting that work done. But Miller Center can't do it alone. I really want to give a shout out to our partnerships across the university. Our faculty that we work with are really essential to the work that we're doing. We now work with 75 faculty scholars. Thank you, faculty that are in the room, each bringing their own expertise, networks, and mentorships to our students. In addition to our fellowship program, some of you may know we also have a very immersive internship program that helps us connect with even more students outside of our fellowship, literally hundreds of students. So if you want to learn more about our internship program, please reach out to Anthony Sampson. And also, he's right there doing the little wave. And of course, to Linda Gentry as well. So those are the two kind of main folks on our team that are spearheading our campus engagement work. Thank you, Anthony and Linda. So all of these experiences, whether it's a summer fellowship or a classroom collaboration, open the doors for our students here at Santa Clara to discover who they are and how their talents can help the common good. I also want to give a shout out to some of our faculty. So this year we had Professor Leslie Gray join our team, and it's really been wonderful having Leslie join us. So Leslie, you've been instrumental in helping us think through Miller Center's research strategies, as well as helping us strengthen our fellowship curriculum. So thank you so much, Leslie. And then also thank you to Professor Stephen Carroll for just being a really dedicated and thoughtful mentor to our students. And of course, a heartfelt thank you to one Miss Linda Gentry. She's standing over there in the back. So Linda, she's really the one that keeps our fellowship running smoothly. She ensures that all of our student fellows, your beautiful children, are safe and supported every step of the way. I'm fairly certain that, Linda, you didn't really sleep much over the summer. She was basically on call, on WhatsApp, on standby for all of these beautiful students and myself as we were in country, making sure that we were safe every step of the way. So thank you so much, Linda. We love you. All right, now with that, we want to hand it over to our lovely fellows, and it is my great pleasure to introduce our first pair of Lewis Family Fellows. That is Arturo Torres Landa and Rachel Lynn Paistrup with Fair Climate Fund, India.
Hello, my name is Arturo Torres Landa. I am double majoring in math and computer science.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lynn Paistrup. I'm an environmental science major with minors in sustainability and biology.
During the summer, we went to India to work with Fair Climate Fund India, a social enterprise that works with rural farmers to help them fight the effects of climate change. As part of these efforts, they run a forestation program. They give these farmers fruit trees so they can plant them in their land, and then take the fruits, spices, and timber that these trees may produce. Nonetheless, despite these trees producing many things, only the carbon sequestered is currently measured as the value produced by this type of projects. As such, our work in India was to try and see how we could measure beyond that carbon, entering into ecological, economic, social, and cultural aspects.
Yeah, so our research activities included interviewing these smallholder farmers to hear more about their experiences and perceptions of these afforestation projects. We also conducted surveys and did a literature review to compare our survey findings with research that has already been done within India. This helped us to create a framework for us to holistically evaluate the outcomes for their afforestation. Our first finding was through community participation and leadership. We realized that sustained community engagement with decision-making and leadership roles is the way for long-term resilience and independence for these projects. We want these projects to last for years to come, even after FCF leaves them. And so we recommend that they build local infrastructure in collaboration with these smallholder farmers so that the projects can continue successfully moving. Next, our finding was a link between environmental awareness and identity. There was a moral and emotional commitment to these farmers while they were planting these trees. They said things like the trees breathe life and that they take care of the trees so that the trees can take care of them in the end. And this environmental stewardship brought them pride and self-worth, and so that we recommend that FCF India reinforce and recognize these identity-based engagement for collective resilience and environmental awareness within these communities.
Another very important thing we found is how difficult it can be to measure the effects that these projects have, since they go for many, many years. We were talking about 30 to 40 years. So to a point, it starts to get a bit speculative. As such, instead of just having one single forecasted scenario, we recommended to have multiple of them. each one with different assumptions. So you may have scenario A, which has a very positive climate and a very close community working together. You may have scenario B, which may be a little bit different. And as such, when someone interested might take a look at the project, they can see what was assumed in a very transparent way and have better decision making. Lastly, we also saw a tension that exists between the short-term costs that these projects may provide to the farmers and the long-term benefits. Many of these trees don't produce any economic value in the first 6-7 years because they are very small. They require a lot of work so they don't die. So we definitely recommend to continue providing that support in those initial years while the trees can pay by themselves.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you to Miller Center for this opportunity, and also thank you to Leslie for doing yoga with me while we were in India.
All right, thank you so much. Next up, we have Orion Cook, Charlie A. Ward, and Grace Felci with Grupo Promesa.
My name is Orion Cook. I'm a bioengineering major and an urban education minor.
I'm Grace Felci. I'm an environmental science major and biology minor.
Hi, I'm Charlie Aylward. I'm an anthropology major and a public health minor.
So this summer we worked for Grupo Promesa, a company based out of Mexico City that is dedicated to building sustainable communities in as many groups as they can. So they partner with groups like schools, businesses, restaurants, cafes, apartment complexes, and more to offer specialized education programs and then also waste recycling services. So these education programs range from going into schools, teaching classes to students, offering trainings and certifications to businesses, all the way to collecting milk cartons from cafes to turn into sustainable roofing shingles. And they also, throughout all their partners, provide very detailed waste management systems where they sort their waste and then appropriately recycle all of it. And so if it sounds like Promesa does a lot, it's because they do. And that was pretty much what we were brought in to work on. So Promesa's programs are specialized to the point where it's difficult to sum up everything that they do in one single sentence. And so this creates issues for partners because they'll only understand the sector that they're actually working in. For example, the schools that Promesa partner with only know what Promesa is doing in schools. They don't know what's going on in the business or the restaurant side of things. And so our goal was to understand public perception of what Promesa does and understand where that communication breakdown took place and then combine all of that into one single mission. And so we use an internal and external survey, both for the employees within Promesa and for the partners that Promesa works with, to find where that kind of communication breakdown is taking place. We also decided to kind of sum up Promesa as building sustainable communities through environmental education and waste management. Right now, they just advertise themselves as environmental educators and waste management, but we believe focusing on the end goal is more important than focusing on the tools they use to get there.
As Orion prefaced, our data collection consisted of 2 surveys, an internal survey which was sent to Promesa employees and an external survey which was sent to Promesa's partners. The goal of these surveys was to identify where the gaps in Promesa's brand perception stemmed from and to find solutions to help create a more cohesive brand image for Promesa. The internal survey sent to the employees focused on questions that gave us answers to what employees thought Promesa's main mission was, how much collaboration and communication existed between employees, and kind of how much cross-department knowledge there was. The external survey sent to Promesa's partners had a similar mission of helping us understand how much Promesa's partners knew of Promesa's various programs other than the one they were a part of, and how much Promesa communicated and shared updates about their company with their partners. The key findings from both of these surveys was that there was a clear misalignment between how Promesa defines its mission and how both their employees and partners viewed their mission. Another key finding was that there was a lack of communication and collaboration across departments, both internally within Promesa and externally to their partners. These findings gave us a clear picture of where the disalignment in Promesa's mission stems from, as well as areas of focus. Moving forward, we were able to pinpoint that communication, collaboration, and messaging would be key areas to focus on to strengthen Promesa's brand image.
So by clarifying Promesa's core mission and identifying where communication gaps occur, our work directly supports the enterprise by creating a more unified brand identity, one that employees and partners can both articulate and engage in. Strengthening this shared understanding is key to improving collaboration across programs and making Promesa's work more visible to current and potential partners. One of our main recommendations is to develop a consistent and recurring newsletter tailored separately for staff and for partners. For employees, this can highlight cross-program initiatives and updates for successful building of internal alignment. For partners, a monthly newsletter can showcase impact stories, upcoming community opportunities, and ways to engage more deeply with Promessa's initiatives. Together, these small but regular communication touchpoints will reinforce Promessa's collective mission and help cultivate stronger, more connected, sustainable communities.
Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Miller Center, for this opportunity. Please come visit our banner later to learn more. Thank you.
All right, next up, please welcome Julia Ruth, Isabel Pink, and Saran Weldemariam of Incomoco.
Hi everyone, hope you're doing well tonight. My name is Saran Weldemariam, and I have a double major in political science and sociology with a minor in international studies.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia Ruth, and I'm an economics major with a history minor.
Hi, my name is Isabel Pink. I'm a finance major with a sustainability minor.
So, as you've heard many times this evening, and count more, over the span of 8 weeks, we had an amazing opportunity to work with a social enterprise named Incomoco. And Incomoco is a social enterprise that supports entrepreneurs and small businesses across 5 African countries, including Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, and South Sudan and Chad, yes. And Incomoco happens to be the largest lender to refugees on the continent. And beyond financing, they also provide business advisory and mentorship to their clients so that they can help build a sustainable business and livelihood. Our research in particular focused on how Incomoco can move investment or become more independent, and in doing so, reach more entrepreneurs and offer more flexible funding. Alongside this, we also looked at the barriers that that limited equitable access to loans, particularly among women entrepreneurs, to better understand how these investment models can promote equitable and promote inclusion. To do this, we did over 50 interviews with both staff and clients, and reviewed internal and external data together, and today these findings have been kind of helping us explore how Incomoco can better finance themselves, sustain their financial sustainability and social impact.
So at the conclusion of our research, we found that we had 3 primary recommendations for the investment team. The first and foremost was derived from the ethos of our research project. Could and should Incomoco spin off into their own microfinance institution? We found that Incomoco could benefit from becoming their own microfinance institution, as it would allow Incomoco to have a more sustainable, flexible deployment of capital. This manifests in 3 different ways. First and foremost, larger deployments of capital for loans for customers that are currently maxing out their loan size. This would also allow for a shorter time in between loan cycles, so Incomoco could disperse loan disbursements faster, and customers could get the capital when they need it. Lastly, it would also help Incomoco as they're hoping to continue to expand across different East African countries, and it would allow them to enter these countries more quickly and with less regulatory barriers. Our second recommendation for the investment team was to utilize a decreasing regression model. Currently, Incomoco employs a flat regression rate, meaning that customers pay the exact same amount of interest on their principal every time they repay their loan. However, in countries like Kenya and Rwanda, their federal government is moving to regulate toward a decreasing regression rate. This means that customers pay the lump sum of their interest at the beginning, and then as the loan progresses, they pay less on the principal each time. We feel that Incomoco could benefit from expanding this not only to Rwanda and Kenya, where it's being mandated, but across all countries of operation, including new countries that they are hoping to expand to. We feel that this will help Incomoco to not only conform with best lending practices, but also to be competitive against other lending firms in the area, reduce the risk of over-indebtedness with clients, and also to better match the seasonally dependent income patterns of their target client base.
Our third and final recommendation for Incomoco's investment team is an in-kind grant loan hybrid model. So this was inspired by the fact that we were interviewing entrepreneurs in refugee camps in Rwanda during the USAID aid cuts. The entrepreneurs we were interviewing were definitely feeling the effects of these aid cuts as their fellow refugees had to reallocate their funds towards basic needs rather than towards the goods entrepreneurs were selling, such as technology, clothing, or crafts. So the in-kind grant comes into play because an in-kind grant is a grant given in the form of tangible inventory. Initially, we were hoping to just create an emergency fund to provide entrepreneurs with grants in times of market uncertainty. However, one of our supervisors at Incomoco explained that sometimes grant money is seen as free money, and entrepreneurs are more likely to misallocate this money towards personal needs rather than business needs. So the in-kind grant is providing this inventory, so it's going to directly benefit these entrepreneurs and their business and kind of completely eliminate that potential for misallocation from the equation. And the loan portion of this hybrid model is going to be a lower loan amount that's more feasible for these entrepreneurs to pay during this hardship, but it's just going to keep their business practices going as it usually would. So the transition post-market disruption will be easier as the entrepreneurs start to ramp back up to their full loan repayment plan. These were our three investment recommendations. However, our research did expand beyond our initial scope and it got at more of the business training side of Incomoco as well. The business growth services team is integral to the financing team, and so we came up with 4 brief recommendations for the business service team as well. Those are a peer mentorship program, a women's network, additional consultation post-first loan disbursement, as well as more specialized training for industries for both Incomoco clients and field staff alike. If you're interested in hearing more about anything we spoke about, please come join us at our banner after. And lastly, we just want to extend our gratitude to Miller Center and Incomoco for this incredible opportunity. Thank you.
All right, next up, please welcome Cece Fox Middleton and Eric Pompermare of Jibu.
Hi, my name is Cece Fox Middleton. I am a psych major and then a philosophy pre-law justice minor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eric Pompermeyer, and I'm a senior studying Management Information Systems in the Levy School of Business. Jibu is an East African-based social enterprise that uses a decentralized franchise model in order to address water insecurity throughout the African continent. As of 2025, Jibu operates in 8 African countries with over 175 distinct franchise locations and has delivered over 600 million liters of clean, potable drinking water to stakeholders across the continent. Jibu's business model is incredibly creative, and Jibu franchise owners solve complex problems every single day. Our primary research objective was to identify gaps and deficiencies in Jibu's POS system. This is the current technology that Jibu franchises use in order to track transactions, to record inventory, to create complex financial reports, and to identify key customer retention information statistics.
Yeah, so like Eric said, we were working with Jibu's POS system. So in our research, we were able to conduct roughly 50 interviews across Rwanda and Kenya with franchise owners, employees, and managers at 34 distinct locations. And again, we were looking at the POS usage. So do they like the system? Do they not like the system? What would they add? What would they take away? And just their general enjoyment of the system. And from our research, we found 3 distinct findings. The first one being that the POS system acts like a sort of bottleneck. While it's supposed to be integrated into their daily operations pretty seamlessly, it doesn't seem to be so. It's a little bit slow for them to use. It's not quite as efficient as they hope it to be, and it just kind of altogether slows down daily operations. The next key finding is the lack of key features like inventory and delivery. And these are things that businesses do every single day. So Jibu franchises are collecting their inventory every morning. Delivery makes up a large portion of their sales. So when they don't have those key features in the POS system, they resort to using other methods like pen and paper or Excel. And again, just slows down the usage of the POS system because they can't do it in it. And then the last key finding is the lack of universal training, which basically, if the franchises so franchise employees, managers aren't all getting the same training or the same consistent training, there's a lack of consistent efficiency. So franchise employees, managers are understanding the system is just different. And again, this leads to lack of confidence in the system and altogether just slower usage of it.
Our project added value to Jibu because through identifying the most critical gaps and deficiencies in their technology, Jibu is able to design technology that best meets the diverse needs of Jibu franchises and their stakeholders. Thank you all so much for coming, and we hope to see you all at our poster.
All right, next up, please welcome Emma Hardy and Shivani Glenn of Rootopia.
Hello everyone, my name is Emma Hardy. I'm an environmental studies major with a minor in sustainable food systems.
Hello everyone, I'm Shivani Glenn and I'm a double major in environmental studies and communications. This summer, Emma and I had the privilege of working alongside Rootopia, a sustainable ecotourism company located in Mexico City. Their mission is to enhance tourism past the conventional areas located in Cabo and southeastern Mexico. Currently, 80% of international tourists are concentrated in just 5 areas of Mexico, with only 7% of tourism revenue reaching local communities. This reinforces the vicious cycle of systemic inequities and limits economic development opportunities in other areas of the country. Rootopia works to recenter conventional tourism by placing local communities at its core to offset this unjust social equilibrium. With providers in 10 Mexican states, over 240 local hosts, and over 15,000 experiences booked, Rootopia is actively achieving their mission.
Rootopia's main goal in our partnership was focusing on their newly launched Impact Score. The Impact Score is a tool designed to assess the overall impact of each one of Rootopia's providers across 4 main dimensions, being environmental, economic, sociocultural, and inclusion. What results is a calculated value out of a scale of 100, with 100 representing the highest amount of impact achievable and 0 representing no impact. Our goal was to help strengthen this system and ensure that Impact Score reflects the lived realities and strengths of each one of Rootopia's providers. Additionally, we aim to ground our findings in concrete research and data while simultaneously building trust and credibility with the Rootopia team and the providers that we talk to.
Our research methods included a survey of the internal team to see how the generated impact score influenced sales, marketing, and daily operations. From there, we also wanted to glean insights into the general understanding from the internal team of the impact score, as well as its usability in providing recommendations of improvement back to the local providers. After that, we used interviews to kind of delve deeper into the survey responses. And from there, we went and analyzed the provider database to see if there was a correlation between generated income and revenue of the providers in relation to impact score, if any correlation at all. Lastly, we conducted 2 case studies where we interviewed providers in relation to their perceptions of Rootopia, their authenticity, overall mission, and alignment with the internal team. And we were able to glean valuable insights, seeing that the providers really valued their partnerships with Rootopia, and they have helped them grow in various facets.
So some of our primary findings were, while that impact score is designed to evenly assess the impact of each one of Rootopia's providers, it can sometimes produce skewed results. This is because Rootopia has a very vast provider database, and impact score is calculated based off of a uniformed questionnaire that sometimes does not take into account certain local contexts, access, and size. This results in some smaller, more remote providers being very impactful, but not appearing as such on paper. Still, we found that Rootopia's team very much values the tool, specifically their sales and reservation staff, as they use it to guide tourists towards more authentic and sustainable experiences. Externally, we gleaned from providers just how much Rootopia impacts their daily lives. From the providers that we talked to, we were able to confirm that Rootopia allows them to earn a steady income, attract culturally conscious travelers, all while spreading their traditions and culture with the world.
Our evaluation of the impact score will help Rootopia to develop a better method of quantifying the social impact of providers, in turn allowing the internal team to give better recommendations that are more relevant back to the providers. This will also inherently strengthen the relationship between the internal team and the 240 providers partnered with Rootopia through facilitating more communication.
Building off of that, our work aims to translate these relationships into lasting impact. By refining the impact score, we can foster a sustainable model that is deeply embedded in Rootopia's mission, thereby ensuring that as it grows and expands, it brings the communities at its core along with it. Thank you so much. Please visit us at the banner after this to learn more, and thank you to the Miller Center.
All right, last but certainly not least, please welcome Ethan Ye and Mary Claire Broyles of Tala.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Ethan Ye. I'm a Management Information Systems major.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Claire Broyles. I'm a mathematics major and also pursuing a sustainability minor and a music minor here at SCU.
And we'll be talking about our wonderful time with Tala in Mexico City. Tala is an international microfinance company with the amazing mission of unleashing the economic power of the global majority. To achieve this, Tala offers credit solutions through small loans to underserved populations. They do this through their mobile app, which has differences and competitive advantage compared to other apps. You might be asking what this is. Well, Tala provides these loans or loan-adjusted rates or adjusted loan rates from Android user data instead of government data. So for people who don't have as much access to that data, it increases the accessibility that Tala is able to provide to more people and hopefully help more people. And getting into the research for what we did with Tala, we looked at the barriers and kind of the set barriers that people who are underbanked and unbanked in Mexico might have in using financial services like Tala. So unbanked refers to people who don't have a bank, and underbanked refers to people who have a bank, but they choose not to use that bank. Now, these are people who historically have not really interacted with the financial system, either abroad or in Mexico, and we really wanted to get into the specific reasons why this was the case. Now, we went into our research with like 3 main research questions, one being, what are the current financial barriers these unbanked and underbanked people have with the Mexican financial system and financial services like Tala? What are their current financial behaviors, and what financial services do they currently have access to? Now, to answer these questions, we conducted 24 interviews over an 8-week period in both the Mexico City and Puebla regions in Mexico, which Mary Claire will get more into detail about.
Yes, thank you. So we conducted these 24 interviews, again, in both the Mexico City and Puebla regions. And in these interviews, we would sit down with participants for about an hour, and we would ask questions about their financial habits, about their budgeting practices, about their perception of their standing in the financial ecosystem around them. And one of the main things that we found from this research is that people are very afraid of being scammed. The participants that we interviewed, many of them cited specific incidents of personally being scammed by loan sharks who were charging incredibly high interest rates, or knowing somebody who's that happened to. One of the other experiences that was cited was some participants had been rejected by banks for credit because of lack of income. And these experiences and stories builded into a fear surrounding money that isn't cash. So like any sort of electronic bank transfer, and especially things like digital financial apps. Another reason that we found people like to use cash more is because these participants, it was much more familiar to them to use cash. They had grown up using cash, their parents had taught them how to budget using cash, and all of the businesses in the area made their transactions using cash. So not only was it more familiar and felt safer, it was more convenient as well to make everyday transactions in cash rather than using things like bank transfers. So again, one of the goals of this research was to identify the barriers that people have in using an app such as Tala or any sort of digital financial tool. And what we found was that most people that we interviewed did in fact have a bank account, but chose not to use it, or chose to use it in a very limited manner because they preferred to have their money in cash where they could see it and where it couldn't be taken away from them. So we think that this research will help Tala because it helps us come up with recommendations that are tailored to the experience of unbanked and underbanked people, and come up with ways that can make them feel more comfortable and more capable in handling their finances. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please come up to our poster. And again, thank you to the Miller Center for providing this wonderful opportunity.
Thank you so much, you two. And now please welcome Professor Leslie Gray, who will give some closing remarks, followed by Linda Gentry.
Can we have another round of applause for our amazing fellows? Thank you. So I'm Leslie Gray. I am the Senior Director of Academics and Research in Miller Center. I was brought in this year to develop a research agenda out of Miller Center, but I had the privilege and the pleasure of teaching these young adults, and they are amazing young adults. I am so impressed by their thoughtfulness, their creativity, their compassion in working with partners all over the world, and their commitment to doing really high quality research. So, yay, go team. This fellowship is special. It really is at Santa Clara. It gives our students a chance to take what they've learned in the classroom and apply it in real world terms. Collaborating with partners, looking at some of the most urgent issues that are facing the planet today. Things like women's economic power and climate resilience and clean water and sustainable tourism. These are all just sort of really great research topics, and we're really proud of you. So to the fellows, again, we are so proud of you, the work that you've done, the commitment that you've shown to your classwork, to supporting each other in the classroom. You represent the best of Santa Clara, intellectually engaged, globally aware, and deeply committed to a more just and sustainable world. I know that you're going to carry this spirit with you forward as you take your next steps into the world. I'd like to sort of say to our colleagues at Miller Center, to our co-teachers, to other professors who have mentored these young individuals, to your families, thank you for raising this next generation of change makers. Congratulations. And I'm going to hand it over to Linda Gentry, who's going to conclude with some final remarks. Go, Linda. Actually, I also want to acknowledge Karen Runde, Linda, and Stephen Carroll, who we've worked together hard to make this fellowship a success. And without you all, it wouldn't have happened.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Linda Gentry, and I also had the privilege to work with all 14 of these incredible students. I'm in the area of health and risk management and logistics, AKA Mama Bear, to our students. I wanted to start off by thank you Anne and Rob Nargan and the Lewis family and their generous contribution to this fellowship. So thank you Anne and Rob for being here tonight. I also wanted to thank Jeff Miller for always being the champion for our students and these future change makers. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate you. Thank you to all the friends and families that have traveled to celebrate our students and this showcase. We are all proud of our student fellows. And for the students that are interested in becoming the next Miller Center Fellow, please come and see me. I will be here, we can chat, I can tell you all about the amazing fellowship. So please enjoy the rest of the evening. We have beverages and appetizers. The fellows will take their banners and spread out. Please go ask them about their experience, their research, and about their fellowship. Thank you, everybody, and please enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.